Good evening, this is Atmospheric Alex here, and welcome back to another U.S. weather forecast outlook and discussion. And today we're going to be figuring out when is all of that cold weather going to be coming back. I know you all are really enjoying the big warm-up coming up, but at the same time, are we going to be seeing our snow chances increase as we head into mid-January? Or is our winter thaw going to continue for a bit longer than forecasted? All those details and a little bit more coming up in today's video. Now, as we take a look at our current analysis data here, you can see we do have a ton of lake effect snow over here in the northeast region, into portions of the Great Lakes as well, getting a lot of heavy snow. Bit of a clipper system moving across Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, bringing some mixed precipitation with that. Then a pretty big rainmaker down here across the southeast. We're not expecting any issues from this. In fact, this is some really good news. We have been seeing a pretty significant drought across some areas of the southeast, and to see this rain move into the picture is honestly going to be quite beneficial. Then you could see all of our energy back out to the west here, along your west coast like California, Oregon, and Washington. Quite a stormy period here as we go over the next few days. Now, as we look at our current alert map, there are definitely a lake effect snow warnings up there for Lake Ontario, portions of Lake Erie, and then other areas too. That clipper system across Nebraska, winter weather advisories for your mixed precipitation, some snow as well. And then look at the west coast again. I swear the west coast has been seeing a ton of activity over the past month. Look at this: winter storm warnings, wind advisories, high wind warnings along the coast. There has been a ton of weather to talk about over there, and hopefully we can get some of that weather over here into the eastern US in the mid to late January. Again, I'll talk about that later in the video as to why that is becoming more uncertain, unfortunately. Now, as we take a look at our winter storm severity index here, you can see we have a major impact here for portions of Oswego, New York here, Sterling, Fulton, Palmero, Hastings Parish, around those areas. We are seeing a ton of lake effect snow, 2 to even 4 feet of it absolutely dumping out there. Very serious impacts, and then your surrounding areas as well. As we head into tomorrow, things do begin to wind down a bit, but we're still talking about some moderate impacts here. Do we see an upgrade to a major impact? I don't really think so at this current point in time, but I guess only time will tell, and we'll have to wait and see if our lake effect snowband gets set just as intense as it was today, and even especially last night. Speaking of our lake effect snowband, we're going to check our HRRR model here for what the radar could look like for the rest of the night and then going into tomorrow. You can see our dominant lake effect snowband just north of Syracuse, New York. That could actually drop a little further south, but look at your dark blue colors right here. This is going to cause a lot of issues. This is near Fulton, New York. We're going to be talking about snowfall rates of 2 to 3 to even 4 inches an hour. Last night, we were even seeing some 5-inch per hour plus rates out there because our temperatures were a little bit colder than they're going to be tonight, but you know, you get the idea. Lots of snow. Look at that band. That just continues to rip all through the night into tomorrow morning, into late tomorrow morning. Finally begins to retreat, at least we think so. You know, big question is, what if this band does not retreat and we still see it very healthily over this area here? I guess we'll wait and see. We could have higher snowfall totals than forecasted, so you need to keep a close eye on radar. This band does reinvigorate just a little bit here, but it goes mainly off to the north and back to the south, and it's kind of like a springing motion there, if you will. And then finally, as we head into Sunday afternoon, it does appear that our banding feature is finally dissipated. And this banding feature is going to drop a ton of snowfall, a tremendous amount here. Look at Fulton. We're talking about, I would actually say, between 10 to 21 inches of snow. You have a lot of snow to go over the next several hours, into the next day, as a matter of fact. And then other areas around there too could see over 2 feet of snow to go near Pulaski there. That's how you say it. Believe it or not, I did kind of look at that before the video. In between Pulaski and Fulton, that could be a jackpot zone there for you all. Now, as we take a zoomed out look here at the US, and we're looking at our European model for our temperatures, because I want to know, and you all want to know as well, when is our cold and snowy pattern going to arrive? Well, we have to go through spring version 3.0 first before we get to winter 2.0, right? You gotta love it, right? I mean, winter can be so unpredictable sometimes, and you could see it here for sure. We are talking first about a very dramatic warm up here across the south and southeast. Temperatures soaring well up into the 70s here across portions of Texas, Louisiana, portions of Mississippi, Arkansas, even. And then everywhere else, even to the north, is in the 60s. Our freezing line is really far north. I mean, we're talking about some really warm temperatures here, into next week, some 80s down there across southern Texas. It's going to be a scorcher for some people out there. Look at this. We're talking near 70 degrees out there in West Tennessee as we get into Thursday. That is outrageous for this time of year. And then that continues 72 almost in some areas. Look at down here for Florida. I mean, we're talking about spring. Now, I don't think we're going to see anything blooming just yet, though this warm up is definitely going to forward that progress a lot. So we'll have to see. Down here in Florida, we're talking about highs in the 80s. That is just insane. Finally, we get a bit of a cold snap as we head into next weekend, but it barely lasts. See, you get a bit of a warm up there. So we're going to have periods of colder weather, but they're not going to last long at all. Our warm weather is going to outdo our cold weather, likely for the foreseeable future, though maybe we can get some more sustained cold air. And you can see at the end of our model here a ginormous, strong Arctic outbreak starting to push south. Again, this is not a forecast, but I think we could see a feature similar to this at some point in late January. Uh, Perhaps early February. Maybe we are kicking the can down the road at this point, but there's a lot of uncertainties to go. How about on our GFS model? Let's see that warm bias in full motion across the south and kind of laugh about it here. Well, first, let's take a look up north. Temperatures in the negatives, below zero still for a few more nights, but that is going to end pretty soon. Look at that. Temperatures in the 70s going into Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado. It's winter. Why is it 70 in Colorado? That's insane. And then this just continues here. Texas getting into the 80s, northern Texas into the 80s. It's a real warm up out there. Look at here across portions of southern Texas, 85 near San Antonio. It's going to be warm. Continuing through time, and really, I mean, the warm weather doesn't let up. And take a look at this. No, right here, actually, this is where it gets ridiculous. Almost in the mid 70s across eastern Arkansas, West Tennessee. What? That's crazy. And then this warm weather just continues. And then again, we could see a cold snap or two, but it's probably not going to last that long. That's what we're starting to notice. And really, above average temperatures everywhere you look. Maybe we, again, could see an Arctic outbreak towards the end of our loop, but, only time will tell at this point. Our precipitation map here from our European model, what are we expecting? A really big storm system out there for the west coast. Talk about a lot of rainfall for your lower elevations, lots of snowfall for your higher elevations. And so your Sierra snowpack, if I can talk this evening, is going to definitely be running at average, maybe above average by the time it's all said and done. You could see a lot more, rain, snow moving into the picture, more storm after storm after storm on the west coast. Definitely going to be eventful out there. And then you could see we do have some rain, maybe some thunderstorm activity as we head into next Thursday and Friday. That is absolutely not a forecast. However, I've been noticing some model trends of a bit of a low pressure system kind of forming up right over here, and a ton of warm, unstable air kind of coming up like this out of the Gulf. Whether or not that happens or not, well, that's going to be uncertain, but rain and even thunderstorm chances are going to be possible across portions of the Ohio Valley, maybe later next week. But only time will tell. And again, more rain chances across the south. And again, you see your occasional shots of cold, but then it quickly, abruptly gets ended by some more warmer weather there. And then again, maybe some snow for your higher elevations of your Appalachian Mountains, but looking quite wet rather than freezing for a large portion of the picture. Now, as we take a look at a European ensemble here, these are your 850 millibar temperatures, basically your lower level temperatures, and we want to see where that 30-degree line is. Again, that really will dictate where your snow may occur, or at least where it'll be cold enough for your snow to occur on your mean. The reason why I don't look at 32 degrees is because you give or take a bit and you have some mixing issues with rain, sleet, ice, etc., etc. So I tend to stick with 30, but you can see we definitely have that warm up in the picture. But as we head into mid January, notice the ensemble is showing a very big cool down here, a pretty big cold front moving through, bringing that -2 degrees Celsius at 32 degree Fahrenheit line pretty far off to the south. So we're going to really have to watch the progress of this. Could we get maybe a stray snow chance in the midst of the warm up? That is a great question to ask. And you can see it does kind of stick around for a bit and really does dive south. You can definitely see it here. Again, I'm focusing on this area a lot more. Look at that. So all you need is a storm system further south, and you could be in business for some southern snow. Not a forecast. You can see at the end, though, it kind of flexes up a bit, and we see maybe another ridge returning. That we'll have to see. Our GFS ensemble is really not budging much. In fact, it doesn't show nearly as good of a picture, but still, it is a model, and we still need to take a look at it, right? It may be inaccurate, but it's still in the picture. You can see our cold front does move through, but you can see our 30 degree Fahrenheit line does not go that far south, and it stays really far off to the north. No, that is not a favorable look for southern snow. Not even much of a favorable look for the Ohio Valley either, so we'll see if that changes. Maybe we could see it press down a little further south in time, but yeesh, that is definitely not a favorable look for snow at all. The Midwest, portions further north, for sure you could see snow, but south? I don't know. I don't really know about that. This is just not the prettiest look. This is definitely not like last year, that's a fact. But you can see our snowfall here. It's good, but not great. Our 2-inch line has definitely surged off to the north here. You can see that's detail number 1. I'm going to say that probably areas right within here are probably going to wind up really fighting to see snow. This big area I circled in red, I really don't have much hope for you guys. Now, again, things can and they will change on the models, but with how things are right now, not really seeing snow chances down here in this red area just yet. Let's hope that that can change as we head into late January, I guess, or even into February, but only time will tell, right? So remember at the beginning of the video, I kind of was hinting, in the thumbnail about maybe some northern light chances. Well, yep, you heard me correctly and you saw the thumbnail correctly. We actually have 2 solar storms heading towards Earth right now, 2 coronal mass ejections that actually got blasted out of the sun. You can see our first CME right here that could be arriving at some point tonight. I'm kind of going to highlight this here. This little feature here, this is a coronal mass ejection that is going to potentially cause some northern light activity later on tonight. That is going to be something to watch out for. And then we have another coronal mass ejection behind that one as well that also got blasted off the sun that could be arriving a bit later. As we progress through time, there's the entry of that one, and then the next one here. That one could be arriving late tomorrow night to maybe even into Sunday morning. So that's what we currently got on the space weather docket, and we're going to take a more detailed look at this. Here is your northern light potential for tonight. So you can see we are currently sitting at a G2 geomagnetic storm, potentially. Now, what a geomagnetic storm is it's basically when the solar storm hits Earth and starts kind of interacting with the magnetic field and the magnetosphere, right? That is when you can get your northern lights to occur. And you can see your aurora oval, another word for northern lights, stretching pretty far down into the United States. You can see your view line here going all the way down here, just like this. So maybe some areas in the northern US, if your skies are clear, you may want to go outside tomorrow night and take a bit of a look. You could honestly see the northern lights. Again, this type of event will come and go. You may get a 10-minute burst where it's all excited and you got the lights going all bright and colorful and stuff, and it may even be visible with the naked eye. And then 10 minutes later, there's absolutely nothing. So You also need to keep an eye out for substorm potential because that could push the northern lights further south and could really make your tall pillars on your northern lights a lot brighter. And so with all that being said, here's what your cloud cover could look like tonight. This is from your RDPS model here. And unfortunately, a lot of areas are going to be clouded out. Take a look at this. Everywhere I'm circling in red, you're going to have a really rough time seeing the northern lights tonight. All within here, you are probably not going to see anything but some milky white skies, of course, in those areas as well. Out in the west, these areas probably won't be seeing the northern lights either, and then all up through here as well. So, yeah, not good viewing tonight at all. That is for sure. As we continue through time, we could see some clearing in portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota that could maybe allow for some better visibility, but it's going to be late in the night, early tomorrow morning, so yeah, not looking like a great event in terms of cloud cover, but if you possibly can, I would still take a look regardless. With that said, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to my little corner of the weather community, share this video with friends and family on social media, and even leave a comment section below if you found this video entertaining or informative as well. As always, regularly scheduled uploads will be returning briefly, but then probably towards the mid portions of next week, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a short break as I head back off to college again, which that'll be a lot of fun. And I'm very excited. I think this year will be an absolute blast. Have a wonderful night, everyone, and stay weather aware. And maybe look north tonight. You may see some northern lights, especially for your northern US.